Fight Time Network.
Welcome back to Fight Time Network, everybody. If you watched this Saturday, Frenchman took over the game. Bunch of huge upsets, came through, made a bunch of people money. I ended up having Imavov. Kind of called that one, and it kind of went almost how I thought it was going to. I thought Bahalio would shoot more, but it was a crazy midday fights last Saturday. They're in the middle of the day. Don't forget that either. How you doing, Lee? You're muted.
I figured he'd do it. I thought he'd get it done in the first round. It was almost close. I don't know if he was out of gas, drop it in the second, but he came back and finished hard in the third. We cashed that plus 180 ticket. Didn't do too damn well in the UFC, but if you're following along, we made a lot of money and friggin' won championship and LFA the night before. So
Hell yeah.
that little loss to the UFC didn't mean much.
Job, Lee. Well, to move on from the weekend, it was fire. But ladies and gentlemen, we are moving into El Noche UFC, baby. In San Antonio, Lopes versus Silva. It's a pretty fire card, Lee. Everybody's sleeping on it.
Oh, man, yeah, there's a lot of bangers on this one, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into this one. Starting off the card, we're going to start with Alexander Hernandez, 17-8, taking on Diego Ferreira, 19-6. Lee, I'm going to go with Hernandez on this one. Truthfully,
Yeah,
I've really liked Ferreira in his last few fights. I really have, and he hasn't upset me the way he's been fighting. I mean, he makes a couple mistakes here and there, but he's been fighting really good. And Alexander Hernandez, just coming off a great win of Chase Hooper, walking through Hollowball, Hubbard, lost to Jack, 2 losses before that. I mean, when you look at Ferreira's losses, Grant Dawson, Matus Gamrot, Gillespie. You take Alexander's style, those guys kind of, mirror the style of his losses to Dawson, Gamrot, and Gillespie. That wrestling style that Alexander Hernandez is going to bring to the table, and he can stand and bang. I think he's going to be nothing but trouble for Ferreira in this fight, unless he can maybe catch him slick on the ground.
No, absolutely. And I mean, a testament to Ferreira to be able to stand in there with Grant Dawson, knock out Michael Johnson, take Mateusz Rebecki, finish him late in the third round. But, everybody has had Hernandez counted out his last few fights. Nobody thought he was going to beat Hollowball. A lot of people thought Austin Hubbard would get the jump on him. And everybody thought Chase Hooper was going to submit him. And not only that, but that was in August, man. We're not even a month removed from where he clean clocked Chase Hooper. And he's taken on a guy like Diego Ferreira. I think Hernandez is in it. He's in it to make another run and a statement in this featherweight division. And 32 to 40 years old is Miles, man. Miles. And you know what? Diego Ferreira was up against a strong grappler like Grant Dawson, couldn't get back up. And I mean, Hernandez has the power to put you out, but he also has the power to take it wherever he needs it to go if it's not working for him against Ferreira and he's getting hit. So given that factor, giving the threats from all angles, I think Alexander Hernandez is definitely going to be the favorite here.
Yeah, it's got pretty great odds on it right now, too. Minus 135 for Hernandez. Ferreira plus 114.
Deal, ladies and gentlemen.
I think
Hop
so,
on
too.
Alexander Hernandez.
I definitely do. I just feel like he's going to have the upper hand here. Now, I mean, take four years off Ferreira. This definitely be a pick 'em at this point. That it had already almost is still a pick 'em. So, I mean, Ferreira might even be favored 4 years ago. Just not being 40. It's definitely going to matter. Alexander Hernandez does have really good, decent, gotten better with his gas tank. I mean, in the third round, he does get a little sloppy, but he still can bring it. We've seen that.
And I mean, Hernandez showed that against Chase Hooper. You can't make mistakes against the guy. You can't
Facts.
for a second step off the gas. You can't for a second be out of line. You can't be caught with your feet together. And or else he'll make you pay. Whether you think you're safe with 1 second to go ticking off the round, he'll knock you out. At the same time, he's got that pressure wrestling, which can just break guys down as well.
Moving on to your next bout of El Noche, Santiago Luna, young gun, coming up against Lee Quang or Quang Lee, 9-2. It's pretty much a boy versus a man fight, and they both have fought the same type of competition. Lee Quang a little better. Quang Lee, it's probably gonna be Quang Lee.
Yeah, I think it's Quang Lee.
Yeah, but it's really hard to compare here. So Santiago Luna, yeah, he's faced worse competition than Lee Quang's done it, but he's been sleeping dudes. Got 6 straight finishes as a pro, Lee. Can't ask for much better coming up and getting tested because we watch this sport enough. You know, people going 6-0 in their career, they have 3 decisions. That's a big difference between 3 more finishes. But when you go back and look at Lee Quang's record too, I already did have one pulled up here. I mean, Lang Jiao, pretty much the only decent people Lee has fought in, he lost to. I mean, you could count Bolaños a little bit. He was 8-4 when he lost to him. Tiao Fang was 8-5, so he does have 2 decent wins. But before you get to that, you know, Cody Peterson 6-4, Gaedo 6-4. He's a little better proven, but that was just in the LFA. And then when he comes up to the UFC, he kind of gets tested, and he didn't react very well in the UFC with that next level up either. That's my thought on it. So what do you say?
But
here?
I mean,
One's gonna hopefully get lucky.
no, I think Quang Lee's got it. I think he's far more well-rounded. A lot of people were counting him out against Bolaños, you know, a Peruvian prospect of a boxer. And you look at Luna, he's coming out of Entram Gym where he's training with Michael Morales. These guys aren't doing much grappling, man. These guys are probably training their entire camps, trying to stay on their feet and knock people out, man. Mexican, he's boxer at all. He's looking to throw them hands, and that was the the last fight out for Quang Lee, and ended up winning by rear naked choke.
True
So I think unless Luna's going to show something that we haven't seen much of him outside. You know, we haven't the promotions that he's coming out of weren't even, you know, aren't heavily syndicated of UWC. I guess Tough Enough's making a name for itself.
Yeah.
But I mean, Quang Lee came directly from the LFA into the UFC, lost his first 2, just got a major win where everybody had him counted out. And if Luna's not bringing more than what Bolaños did, in terms of Bolaños was an elite striker as well, and Quang Lee was able to get him to the ground and overwhelm him and choke him out. So what is Luna bringing to the table? The grappling. You know, he's got a round 3 submission finish, and he's got 3 rear naked choke finishes. But is it at a better caliber than Quang Lee? I don't think so. I'm going to go with Quang Lee.
I think Lee's going to end up taking him down pretty decently. You think he can finish him? The thing is, I don't know. It's hard to even go back and watch one of these fights. Maybe you can find him on YouTube and such like that, you know, but where do you even go to watch the replays of him fighting? How did he look on the ground? I mean, if you weren't there to watch it, you don't really know too much, unfortunately. But I'm taking Lee in this one. I think he'd just be able to get into the ground and control him. I'm not sure if he may finish him. He may not. At 21 years old, you can make a lot of mistakes. You know, not being well seasoned, not be able to think straight when someone's kind of got your back a little bit. And I don't know if Luna's been put in that position.
He's certainly going to get Yeah, and it's very rare you see a guy bypass, you know, the whole system that they have set up with the Contender Series and everything like that to be 21, and, you know, just getting a debut matchup off the bat. Kudos to him, but he does have some grappling highlights. However, are they on the same par as Quang Lee?
Okay. Get it. That's going to be a good fight, though.
Plus 100 Quang Lee sitting at right now. And
Plus 110 on DraftKings, boy. That's crazy. What were Lee's losses? Knockouts? He went to decision. Knockout decision against Gutierrez. Ooh. It's a tough one, though. Yeah, I'll probably take Lee at plus 110. Get it, boy.
absolutely. And I mean, 6-0 isn't what 6-0
Value.
was, 5-10 years ago, man. Like, you pretty well need to be like at this point 10-0 right now to be taken seriously with the way the UFC is going. So ultimately, I think Quang Lee has the wrestling, the grappling ability, very violent grappler. He has the ability to knock you out. It just, it ultimately you could see the pick'em fashion there. It's going to be who stands on what, but
Yep.
I think Quang Lee is gonna get in the better shots, and ultimately be able to do much more on the ground than Luna's able to. I think Luna might get a little bit carried away. Maybe he tags Lee a couple of times, but I definitely see this going to the ground at some point where Quang Lee is going to show a little bit more skill.
What a great matchup. Moving on to Kelvin Gastelum, 20-10 versus Dustin Stoltzfus, 16-7. Lee. I can't believe Gastelum's only 33.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that right before we started the program too. Like Calvin Gastelum feels like he's been around forever in the UFC, man. I remember it being like 2016 where he knocked out Michael Bisping, and that was like almost 10
Yeah.
years ago now.
So pretty much what I'm getting from this, it's Gastelum versus Pfeiffer, which is not steroid freak like guy. Stoltzfus kind of is going to fight the same as Pfeiffer did, especially when Pfeiffer started mixing in, some takedown defense and things like that. I don't want to write Stoltzfus out for some reason, man. I, as much as I hate Calvin Gastelum, he fights good. It pisses me off every time. And then when you don't bet on him, he wins. Gastelum's
That's the thing with
favorite, pretty
Calvin
heavy
Gastelum.
favorite, minus 265. Stoltzfus, double 15. Can Stoltzfus deny the takedown in the second round? If he can't be denying takedown in I don't know, man. Stoltzfus always gets back up pretty good too. Oh, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Lee? This one I couldn't really make a good decision on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Stoltzfus is gonna pull this one off. I've never really had a lot of faith in the consistency of Stoltzfus. I mean, he's got a win in his last three against Marco Andre Barrio, was able to knock him out in the first round.
Been
That was
crazy.
highlight fashion, but that exchange could have gone either way. I
Yeah.
mean, if he was an inch backwards or an inch forwards, Barrio probably would have knocked him out. He struggled against Ruzabayev. He struggled against Ferreira. Magomedov kind of flash knocked him out. Mearshart out grappled him. Vieira out grappled him. Kaladakis out grappled him. And then you flip towards Kelvin Gastelum. This poor motherfucker. I mean, the only guy,
You're right. Pfeiffer, Rodriguez, Brady, Purdy,
that he hasn't fought
Cannonier,
that hasn't been an argument for the title. It was
Whitaker.
Neil Magny back in 2015. That's the only name on his resume since 2015 that hasn't either fought for the title or will be fighting for the title. Because, I mean, ultimately, his last two losses are Sean Brady and Joe Pfeiffer, and everybody expects them to, at one point, to be in the line, especially Sean Brady, probably not far off. And then, give Joe Pfeiffer. Joe Pfeiffer is still in his mid-20s, so ultimately, he's only got one notch against him with Jack Hermanson, and he seemed to correct a lot of the holes. So Calvin Gastelum's been put up against, and I mean, he's got a win over Johnny Hendricks in 2016, Tim
Yeah,
Kennedy in
that's
2016.
crazy. Back in Johnny Hendricks' days run.
Yeah,
Oh man, I forgot about that era.
yeah. So if you give Gastelum a guy that's not within title contention, I think he's going to maul him.
Yeah, I don't think after just fighting Piper, dude, there ain't no way Stoltz was gonna throw something that doesn't sleep Gastelum somehow and make him scared of him. After just fighting Joe Piper, like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just fought. Was it 5 rounds? Was that a 5 round fight?
Was it a 5 round fight? Was it a main event? I
No,
don't
it was
think so.
co-main.
Co-main 3 rounds, but still three
Yeah,
rounds
yeah, with bombs
with
coming
Joe
at you.
Piper.
Like, I think you're right. Gastelum might do some stupid stuff with his reputation and lose a fight he's not supposed to, or does not make weight, which he should. It's 185, should be able to make that weight, you'd hope. But we already seen Brian Battle pimp that leg out, and then he gets hired by PFL. Oh, it's so funny. I like what you have, Lee, on that. Moving on. Another little hidden banger here. Rafa Garcia, 17-4. Versus Jared Gordon, 21-7. Lee. Oh man. I'm taking Jared Gordon. And I'm only taking him just because of the hype he has going with how he has it. I didn't know Rafa Garcia was so ground based either. So that caught me off guard just a second ago seeing that stat. I don't know, man. I don't think the odds are where they should be on this fight. I don't see why Jared Gordon should be minus 250. But you also can say why, because he beat more. Yeah, he lost to Hawk Parast. Shot rest took Pimblett into deep waters, even though it was one of the worst fights ever that Pimblett got a dub on. No contest against Green. I don't remember what happened on that one. Well, you look at Garcia, he's only losing to Dawson. Jakar close. How'd he fight Guida? The frick? No, I'd probably take Gordon here on a decision if I was going to say.
I'm on the other end. I really like Rafa Garcia in this. I think he's going to be able to push the pace against Gordon. I think he's going to be able to back Gordon up. I think Thiago Moises was way too confident going in against the striking of Gordon. And although I still believe, even after that fight, even watching him get knocked out, that Moises probably possessed, a lot of the better skills. I think it was just a matter of overconfidence, which led him to get knocked out by Jared Gordon. He just didn't take Gordon enough seriously. He did not
Yeah, I
move.
mean, that doesn't happen often. Not with him. That was good money.
But
Good shit,
I
though.
think Rafa Garcia is going to take it seriously. I think Rafa Garcia ultimately is going to come in. I think he's going to push Gordon back a lot. I can't see this being the most exciting fight.
No,
It'll
no,
be
no.
another highlight reel coming out of Jared Gordon. But I think Rafa Garcia is going to find those moments where he pushes Gordon back, chews up the clock, gets him down. Gordon's probably going to get back up a bunch there too, but I just see a lot of the forward moments going to Rafa Garcia, and ultimately the three judges finding it in his favor.
I see on that. Like, ever since his loss to Jakar Close, like, he beat Mahi Shot, Clay Guida, lost to Dawson. I should have went back and watched the Pichel fight. Unanimous decision, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see on this one. I think the odds are too far one-sided for how close this fight and boring it's going to be. Anyway, there's no way Jared Gordon should be a minus 250.
Absolutely. And I mean, he got that split decision with
Yeah.
Hasbrat. He knocked out Mark Mazden, but ultimately, I think Mazden and Moises, they made mistakes. They made very critical mistakes that I just can't see Rafa Garcia falling victim to that. I just don't see it. I think he's going to be in a proper range. He's going to understand that Gordon can crack you, and he's going to understand what angle he needs to be in order to back him up. And I can't see it being a highlight reel finish, but I can see it being an absolute war of inches of who gets a hold of who and who's trying to break off and hit who. And I just see the moments being slowly won by Rafa Garcia over 3 rounds.
We shall see. I think it's going to be a split decision, but we'll see. I don't know who's going to be for. My shot, split decision. Jared Gordon. Moving on to your co-main event of Noche UFC. Rob Font, 22-8, coming up against David Martinez, 12-1. Lee Martinez coming off a unanimous decision at Contender Series back in 2024, comes out counter straight right round 1 in Simon Oliveira, who was 18-5 at the time. Lee. Oof. I think Rob Font's gonna get him. He's just lengthy, been in the cage too far or too long. All that skill in that man's head. Anywhere David Martinez, I feel like, is gonna want to be, Font's gonna have a counter for, just in movement, just at his pace. I think Rob Font squeaks out another decision. I don't think he finishes him. I think I'll take Rob Font by decision.
Yes, it's the tale old as time with the wealth of experience that comes with being a vet in the game and the risks that youth are willing to take because they do not know any better. And I sincerely think that that's going to tell this tale of the story here.
In short notice.
I'd like Rob Font to win. You know what? I've always been a huge fan of Rob Font. He shut a lot of people up. I mean, even his last fight against Matsumoto, nobody had him favored to win that. And he pulled off 2 out of the 3 judges in his favor. Tyler Phillips was another one, too. A lot of people thought he'd get the jump on him, even Adrian Yanez. And then, I mean, for him to lose to the usual suspects like Sandhagen, Vera, and Figueiredo. However, statistically, you got to be in favor of the youth, got to be in favor of the guy that's willing to take stupid risks for the best results. And that only comes with being as young as David Martinez is. I want to take David Martinez by KO.
I like it. I see where you're coming from. I mean, has walked through the competition. Knockouts 4 straight before he even made it into the Contender Series. Against Jose Suarez, who was 26-11 when he slept him. Axel Acuna 8-2. I mean, it's not chumps that David Martinez has fought and slept and embarrassed to make it to where he is today. Oh, I don't know. I think Dave Martinez is going to come in, and if you don't finish Rob Font early, I don't think it's happening.
Agreed. And I mean, Rob Font's got the experience and that veteranship, it's even a word, to ultimately control the fight of where he wants to go. He's gonna understand his reads much quicker. He's gonna control the octagon much quicker. He's gonna get those, but at the same time, David Martinez has, that willingness still to take risks. And at 38 years old, is Rob Font still going to take the risks in order to finish it? Or is he going to wait too long and end up being in the wrong position at the wrong time and get caught by Martinez coming at you with all the pith and vinegar that you can imagine a 26-year-old would?
I mean, it is hard to pick in this fight, truthfully. If you have to take a side, it's a rough one, Lee.
Yeah.
But Font's been, oh man. I mean, look, you lose to Figgy, lose to Sandhagen. He's had a hell of a career, man. I feel like he's been around since eternity. He really much has. He started back in what, 2014? Matt Schnell was fighting back then too. That's crazy. You, oh man. Does anybody know, like, David Martinez, was he training for a fight? How, I mean, this is like last minute notice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Week's notice. That's what I'm saying. Because Font's gonna push a pace, the same pace he pushes round 1, 2, and 3. Even if he can barely, he's gonna push a pace even if he's getting his ass whipped at 2 and 3. I don't know. Watch Font come out with a takedown. I'm gonna take Font on this one, and I can see you have great reasons why David Martinez by knockout too. So don't get me wrong there. You almost had me swayed, boy.
Yeah, it's gonna, like, is the ferocity that he's going to bring going to be enough? Like, the mistakes that Martinez is going to be make, is Font going to be able to capitalize on them, or is it just going to be overwhelming?
Facts. And we are on the main event. Main event. Noche UFC, San Antonio, Texas, y'all. Diego Lopes, 26-7, against Gene Silva, 16-2, 28 years old versus 30 years old. Diego Lopes coming in at 5'9", 72.5-inch reach. Silva coming in at a 5'6", 69-inch reach. Lee, I'm going on the dog. Mexicano getting the dub in the main event. Noche UFC this year, Lee. I know everybody's hating on him. He just lost to Volk. How's he gonna react? You just lost to one of the greatest of all time in an amazing fight still. It ended up being unanimous, yes, but it could have been split, truthfully. For me, it was close enough. Distinctively, Volk did win 2 rounds. The other 3 could have went either way. Everybody else says that. It's just how the judges saw. Got a killer Silva coming in here. Ooh. Can Silva get inside and stay there without Diego Lopes returning something? Because Diego Lopes will stay tight in the pocket. He has a very long reach. For how long his reach is and how well he does in the pocket is insane. He will open up and he will fire 3, 4, 5. And Volk just didn't stay there. Volk didn't want to sit there and try to knock him out the whole time. He himself was going to stay there in the pocket with him and try to sleep him too. What do you think of the ground game? Do you think Lopes also? We've seen Silva. I mean, Bryce Mitchell was pretty rocked. I'll give him that. Kind of went to the ground, grappled with him. Do you think grappling's even going to come into play in this main event?
I mean, ultimately, it certainly could, but I don't think Jean Silva is on the level of Mostar Avalov, who gave probably Diego Lopes the most threat in grappling. Plus, Diego Lopes has world championship level grappling as well. I mean, he's still competing in grappling competitions as far back as 2022 before he really went on that heavy win streak. And I think this is the first time where the story is going of how hard the guy across from Jean Silva actually can hit, as opposed to how hard he can get hit. Because and not by just one technique either. Because, I mean, there was the argument with Drew Dober. Well, Drew Dober can take a shot, and Drew Dober has this mean left hook. And then, Bagdazan, he's tough. He can get hit. Bryce Mitchell's tough. He can get hit. He can take you down. Well, you may not get the chance to hit Diego Lopes before he hits you, and he can hit just as hard.
And you got to get past that 3 to 4 inch reach to even get in there to hit him. And that's going to matter in this fight. It's a 5-round fight, baby. And Lopes knows he can go 5, and he went 5 with one of the greatest to ever do it. I'm taking Diego Lopes, my man. And I might even take him by finish, untruthfully. You know, Caio Borralho didn't have to go 5 rounds. He might have gotten finished by yeah. No, he went 5. Never mind. But I'm really taking Lopes here. Big on the underdog I am. Plus 210 this week.
And I mean, you even look at the difference of the violence. Hell yeah.
What'd you say?
But you even look at the difference of the violence of knockouts between Diego Lopes and John Silva. I mean, yeah, that choke was pretty violent against Bryce Mitchell, but you look at Melsick, or you look at Dober, or you look at Jourdain, their eyes are still open. Like, yes, they're out. They're not getting back up. Their legs are wobbled. They're down on the ground, but their eyes are still open, man. When Diego Lopes, when he knocked out Sadiq Yusuf, when he knocked out Pat Sabatini, man, it was cold. They were rolled back into their head. They weren't moving. It was out. It was scary. And that just, I mean, both guys hit like a truck, but I just think, and it's always a game of inches with this, and I just think that subtle difference of the way you saw each of John Silva's knockouts react compared to Diego Lopes, I think is ultimately the story here. I think we're going to see a different part of Jean Silva on how he reacts to when he gets hit as hard as he can hit himself, and how he deals with that will be the tale of the fight. And I think it's going to be Diego Lopes as the victor.
Facts. We're riding the same gravy train this week, baby. We shall see. That wraps up your breakdown and predictions for UFC Noche on Fight Time Network. What you got, Lee? We got Dana White's Contender Series tomorrow. You got?
Oh yeah, we got Dana White's Contender Series tomorrow. I'm going to be putting some stuff up on TikTok. Check it out on the Win a Bull. And then, like, I mean, we've been hitting it hard, man. So the thing about weekly sports betting, man, is you can't just rely on the UFC week in and week out. That's one card. There's 14 fights. You can't bet all 14 fights and expect to make money. You got to pick different spots and different angles. And we are MMA bettors, man. You know, we only get it Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. So ultimately, you got to get the best spots in each, and there are a lot more variables when it comes to betting UFC as opposed to betting the regional scene. Regional scene, you are really just betting the authentic sport of MMA, which it's open market, man. There's not a lot of lines makers that are getting in. There's not a lot of availability to information on these lines makers, so sometimes it's just, you know, they're making it up as they go along, and that's where we cash in. That's where we get it consistently. We make bank on LFA and one championship, and we're going to do the same thing again this weekend. Not only do we have the UFC, but we got Cage Warriors, LFA, and UAE and Octagon, man. It's going to be a wild week in MMA.
Hell yeah. Get it, y'all. Hope y'all enjoy Noche UFC. Some bangers in San Antonio. See y'all next week. Peace. Fight Time Network.